Welcome back to Mike's Man Cave and welcome back to another video. Today I will be discussing auxiliary batteries for four-wheel driving and off-grid camping. This battery here that I'm holding is a 100 amp hour lithium battery, and this is what I've decided to go with in my off-grid four-wheel drive camper van, and I'll tell you why now. Now, I have written down some specifications of each battery here because I didn't want to memorize it all. I do remember the basics, however I will be checking on my notes as the video progresses. So the choice I had with where I wanted to fit the battery in the van was either the 100 hour lithium battery, which is that shape there, and there's the identical shape and size AGM battery, which is 120 amp hours, and it's about $150 cheaper than this battery. So why did I decide to get a smaller capacity battery that cost $150 more? This battery here I got for $399, which is not cheap, but the equivalent size, exactly the same size AGM battery, 120 amp hours, was $249 in the same shop. They were actually sitting next to each other. So I could have gotten one of these, or I could have gotten the $249 one. Now here's why I've decided to go with the lithium battery. AGM battery, 120 amp hours. Lithium battery, 100 amp hours. But that is the total charge of the battery. However, once you start using the battery and the battery starts to drain down, you can drain a lithium battery much further down than what you can an AGM battery. So with the 120 amp hour AGM battery, you can only drain about 60 amp hours out of it before you will start causing damage to the battery, or before the battery's protection will cut you off and leave you without power. So basically you've got 60 amp hours of usable power. The lithium battery can safely be drained down to about 20%. So this battery here can be drained 80 amp hours before it starts shutting down, or before the protection starts cutting it off. So you've got 80 amp hours of usable power on this battery, whereas the other battery only gives you 60 amp hours. So you get an additional 20 amp hours of usable power out of this battery over the 120 amp hour battery. So there's your first point. So your AGM batteries drained down to 50% will give you up to 1000 charge cycles. So you'll be able to drain and recharge the battery up to 1000 times. And that is what's actually written in the specification, up to 1000 times. Doesn't mean you'll get to 1000 times. And you will find that your battery will start dying off well before then. So your 50 amp hours of usable charge might be down to 40, it might be down to 30 after you've recharged the battery 500-600 times. And since this battery will be used in my work van, there will be some discharge happening pretty much every day, because I'll be running a fridge in it pretty much at all times. That's the plan anyway. You know, the charge cycles will be constant and they will be daily. So with the AGM battery, your life expectancy is up to 1000 charge cycles. Whereas the specifications for the lithium battery actually say over 2000 cycles at 80% discharge. So whereas one says up to 1000, this one here actually says over 2000 cycles. So at this stage you've got at least double the life expectancy in this lithium battery here over the AGM battery. That's the exact same size. Now another really big difference between those two batteries is the weight. Even though the external dimensions are identical, you might have noticed I can easily pick this battery up. I can do this all day long. This battery here weighs 11 kilos. The exact same size AGM battery weighs 31 kilos. I would not be able to lift the AGM battery up like that. I'd be struggling to lift it up. I actually tried it in the shop. When I went to lift one and then lifted the other, my decision was made. before I even considered the advantages of the longer life. I mean, you're paying an extra $150 for this battery, but you've got double the life, possibly more than double the life. But the deciding factor for me was, when I picked the battery up, was the weight. I'm very conscious of how much weight I'm putting into my van because I've got to drive it. If I can save 20 kilos of weight, there's a fuel saving each time I drive the thing. Because the more weight you put into it, the more fuel it's going to use. The more wear and tear there's going to be on the components in the car, in the van. So a 20 kilo saving is huge. So a 20 kilo saving for better overall performance and better life expectancy, it's a no-brainer. You have to go lithium. You just can't stretch your budget to a lithium battery. Personally, I think wait another 2 weeks. Put $50 a week away. Don't buy your morning coffee. Put an extra $5 a day in the kitty till you can buy one of these over the other one. And that is just my personal opinion. But you've listened to all the facts, and now you can see the reasoning of why lithium is the way to go for the future. And if you want to get technical, these things charge up quicker. They've got a bigger power delivery rate. So if you're using a high powered inverter, this thing will be able to handle more. It's got more performance. It's able to deliver more power faster, quicker, more reliably for a longer time than the AGM lead acid battery. I'd like to make a disclaimer here. I'm no expert on this. I'm sharing this information as I'm learning, as I'm building my camper van, and I'm trying to do the best with the least money. I have been buying up bits and pieces for this van, for this electrical system, since before Christmas. I've been buying stuff for about 3 months, just buying this and buying that as I see it on special. You don't have to pay top dollar for everything. Shop around. If you just want to go out and buy everything right now, this second, you're going to get ripped off. Because these batteries were going for $500 only a few weeks ago. And I got this one for $3.99. I saved $100 buying the battery. Now mind you, with this battery you're going to need a DC to DC charger, which is also a solar controller, and I will be going into that more when I do the actual setup in the van, and I will show you how everything works. But if you buy the matching 25 amp DC to DC charger, you can charge this battery off your alternator while you're driving. Then you can charge it off a permanent solar panel if you wanted to mount one on your car, on your four-wheel drive on your van, or you could charge it off a solar blanket. Now personally I've opted for the solar blanket, which I've already bought, and I've spoke about that in the previous video before this one. And if you haven't seen that, go back and watch the solar blanket video. And in the next video I will be talking about why I went with the solar blanket over a permanently mounted solar panel. And there are several advantages to a separate solar blanket to just a part mounted solar panel that's mounted to your car. So I will be talking about that in the next video. Now if you've got any questions about anything you saw in today's video, do me a favour and give me a big thumbs up, and don't forget to smash the subscribe button for more videos from Mike's Man Cave. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.